Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. It's me, Ryan118, and yes, my bed hasn't been made yet, so there's no sheets on it, so please don't slate me for that in the comments. But welcome back to the channel anyway. Today I'm here to talk about something quite fresh on the mind. The other night, Sunday night, there, Celtic had their end of season awards ceremony where they gave out the awards which the fans got to vote in, and just the general awards itself that fans didn't get to vote in. They were given out to the player of the season, young player of the season, etc. And you probably know by now who won all the awards. Scott Sinclair got player of the year, Kieran Tierney got young player of the year, a few other awards given out. But today I'm going to go through six awards which I'm going to give my own personal opinion, and I'm going to give who I think should have won them, or who I think won them in my book, and give out the Ryan118 Celtic Awards, if you like. By any means, these awards mean fuck all. I'm a low-life YouTuber cunt here, lying here with 4,000 subscribers, which thank you very much for getting me to 4K over the past week, ladies and gentlemen. That's truly appreciate it, so thank you very much for that. But I thought anyway, why not give my opinion on how this season's went and give out the awards for 6 different categories. So I've decided on 6 different categories to give awards for. They will be up the screen in a moment, but remember, this is purely my opinion. I did not ask for any, you know, outside help or put up any Twitter polls, etc., considering I only have about 4 followers on Twitter. But these are all being decided by myself, and they were very difficult. A few of them were easy, a few of them are just the same as what happened in the official Celtic Awards on Sunday night, so there's not a lot of variety. But I've added in a few awards that I feel like can be discussed upon, and I'm going to go over them here. So if you enjoyed this video, you know what to do, hit like and subscribe. And let's head into these 6 awards. I've not got any fancy graphics or anything, to be honest. I've got something at the side, it'll be up in a moment. But let's fly through it anyway, I suppose. Okay, so the first award I've decided to invent here, this wasn't an official award at the Celtic ceremony, is match of the season. This season we were blessed with some great matches, some great results, one just fresh on the mind. Beating Rangers 5-1 at Ibrox. We've had some great matches this season, some great games, some memorable games, some that I got to go to, some that I never got to go to because they were away. I've been at every single home game this season, so a lot of the choice that I've picked for the winner was really based on being there, and I'll show my winner in a moment. But there was a lot of games to choose from. You mean they have the 5-1 at Ibrox? That was a close second that didn't win. Had that 5-1 at Ibrox, and I know a lot of people were like, how's that not been picked? Purely I had to go with the fact that I was at the game that I've picked as a winner. I've been to the 2-0 game where we won at Hampden. I've been to the League Cup final. I've been to some of the Champions League games this season. I've been to the 5-1 at Celtic Park. The winner I've given to match of the season for me was the 3-3 draw with Manchester City. That was a game of the season for me. It was just unbelievable. It was a tie-up between that and the 2-5-1 games. I had to go with that in the end because you all know what it's like, a European night at Parkhead. Unbelievable. Absolutely unreal. And it was really hard to pick this because the first 5-1 match this season was my first ever Old Firm match, so it was really something else, and it was marvellous. So what an experience for my first Old Firm to win 5-1 as well. A great match. But this 3-3 game of Man City, the reason I picked it was just everything about it. You know, going into the game, did not expect us to get a positive result. I expected us to walk away with a loss, and it could have been a really bad loss. And we went out there, and the drive and the determination, the passion showed by the team that night. We went out there and took the lead 3 times in the game. 3 separate times in the game we took the lead against Manchester City, and it was a great overall team performance. Dembele scoring that overhead kick as well. It was brilliant. It was a shame that, you know, 3 times we had to go down. But I just remember biting my nails constantly towards the end of the game, hoping that we'd hold on for the draw, maybe even score a late winner. Man City kept piling on the pressure, and it was some performance, and it was something I think that proves a lot of doubters wrong as well, especially down in England, who say we can't hang in there with the best, and we did. We hung in there, we took the lead 3 times, and my books we deserved to get the win that night. So that was my match of the season, and it was really difficult to choose out of those 3, the 2-5-1s and that, but I had to go with it. I know it's not a win. A lot of people say, why you picked that? We didn't even win the game, but at the end of the day, the passion that night, the atmosphere that night, and just the overall aura of the game itself, it was brilliant, and it had to be match of the season for me. But it was a very slim margin. And also up there for consideration was the Motherwell match at Fir Park. I had that picked, to be honest, and then I remembered about this. But what a game that was as well. It was very difficult to choose, but in the end, I had to go with that 3-3 match. Second award that I'm going to discuss here is the Goal of the Season award. We scored a bunch of great goals this season, a lot by the same regular players. We had Dembele scoring a few toppers, we had Stuart Armstrong scoring some, Lee Griffiths scoring a couple. Some great goals this season to choose from, and if you voted in the actual official awards for Celtic, you would have saw the nominees, and the nominees were really those goals. I would have added in maybe Lee Griffiths' goal, as well as a nominee against Rangers last weekend. A few goals to choose from, but I'm going to go with the goal that I voted for in the Goal of the Season awards, and the goal that won it. Moussa Dembele's goal against St Johnstone, just a team effort. A fantastic team goal. It was like, what, 25 passes leading to the goal. Every single player had a touch of the ball. The finish obviously was quite simple, but the pass from Lustig, that's what won it for me. That's what I voted for personally. It was some goal, and there was some great goals we scored this season, but sometimes I prefer going for the hard worked goals over the ones from long range or the ones with the fancy finish. It's just so well worked by the team, and it was pure beautiful football. So I had to go with that. My voice went so weird there, but that was my goal of the season. Not much to discuss on that one, to be honest. So I had Moussa Dembele against St Johnstone. The next category, and this was one I was really conflicted about doing, and I'll explain why in a moment. It is Worst Player of the Year. Now, I respect every single Celtic player. I respect every single player who puts the top on for Celtic. And for me, there really is no worst player. I mean, everybody does their bit for Celtic, and everybody does something to make the team better. But I feel like this season, you know, it's easy. You could go for a worst player such as like Scott Allen or Gary Mackay-Steven, but they barely had any time to play. I'm going with someone who is a regular player. I may as well just say it straight away, Near Baton. I had to go with worst player. And it's not the fact he's the worst, it's just I'm not a huge fan of him when he plays in the pitch. He just slows the game down for me, and I really don't want to say he's the worst player. I feel like that's really offensive, saying, you know, it's like he's not even been so bad beyond belief. He just slows the game down for me too much. He really takes a lot out of the attacking play for Celtic. I think when he gets the ball, the game dies for a bit of time, and even when he's defending, he makes a lot of careless mistakes when defending. He's too scared to go in for a tackle, it seems to me, and he's easily nudged off the ball for a guy of his size, and he probably has a lot of strength for a guy his size, and he easily gets barged off the ball, and I just think he's not as aggressive as he should be for a central midfielder, especially for one of his size. He's not as good as what he should be. This season there's a lot of times where I've been really angry and really frustrated at points where he could have probably sped up the game for us, especially when you've seen a lot of, say, lacklustre performances at home. For example, in the draws we had against Partick Thistle and Rangers. I don't know if they've played in those exactly, but they're just games off the top of my head where it's those kind of situations and we need to press forward and get another goal, and he's just kind of sucked the life out the game. He's kept the ball for too long, or he's made a negative pass. It's just a lot of things he does which really is frustrating, and a lot of people do take their anger out on him. And sometimes, you know, you can't blame them, but I respect him. I respect Near Baton. He plays for Celtic, and at the end of the day, I don't like booing the players off the park or anything like that. I never do that. But for me this season, if there's anybody who's been weak, who's a regular player, it has to be Near Baton. And it was a category I really just put in to beef up the video a little bit, but weakest player of the season, instead of worst, we'll go with weakest, is probably got to be Near Baton for me. Now this category, Most Improved Player of the Season. What a plethora of players we could have chose for this. There was, you know, I was looking at players, Callum McGregor, Stuart Armstrong, Dedrick Boyata, Scott Brown even. Players who, James Forrest. What a plethora of players to choose from. That was good alliteration for me there. What a wide range of players to choose from who have improved so much this season under Brendan Rodgers. Even if that's an improvement from last season to this season, or even from January till now, the improvement in some players is unbelievable. Brendan Rodgers has took players who were struggling and you wanted rid of under Ronnie Deila and turned them into key players. Absolutely unreal transformations. From Scott Brown last season, yeah, he was struggling with injuries, I suppose, but the player Scott Brown was this last season to this season, unbelievable change. Stuart Armstrong, a player who seemed quite lost at points last season. I really liked Stuart Armstrong, I did. I thought he was a good player and I didn't want us to really sell him because I knew he could do something good. He's proved that. Brendan Rodgers has got the best out of him and arguably been our player of the season this year. One of the nominees for player of the season. Stuart Armstrong has transformed. James Forrest, who was as hopeless as anything for me. I hated him. Couldn't stand James Forrest. I know I just said I don't like saying that about Celtic players, but James Forrest, no. I respected him once again, but I didn't like him. I just didn't see what he brought to the game for us. And this year, Brendan Rodgers transformed him. I love the guy again. Dedrick Boyata, woof, what a transformation. Somebody who I thought should have been out in his arse and sold to bring in a bit more money, which would have been a shame because he never really got a chance. But Brendan Rodgers made him a key defender. But for me, Callum McGregor. I have had, over the past few months, Callum McGregor for me has transformed into a completely different player. And this is my opinion. I know a lot of you be saying, oh, for God's sake, give it to Armstrong, give it to Forrest. No, for me, it's got to be McGregor. And he really solidified that in the last 2 Old Firm performances. He was vital in the performances for me. He was great. He was fantastic going forward. Off the ball, he's brilliant. And he scored those 2 goals as well. He's a brilliant player. And from after that miss against Gladbach, that is the moment I always use. That was the pinnacle of where I think Cal McGregor was getting his abuse at the highest level. I felt a lot of people were calling for him. And the amount of times I've heard people say get him out the team and such, I think he's improved so much as a player since the start of the season till now, and he's just constantly developed, and I think he's constantly just been wanting to prove the doubters wrong, and he's done a fantastic job at it this season. And more recently, he's just getting better and better. For me, he's the most improved player of the season. Young player of the season, no conversation. Kieran Tierney. There's not really much conversation. I mean, Moussa Dembele, I love him. I love him dearly, Moussa Dembele, but Kieran Tierney, do I really need to explain myself? Do I really? Passion, what a player, 19 years old, unbelievable at what he does consistently. That's why Dembele, I don't think, has won this for me, because Dembele's my favourite player personally. I love him, and he's such a big game player, but on a consistent basis, Kieran Tierney does it week in, week out, and is vital to Celtic, and it is vital we keep him for as long as possible. I think for being, he's like Danny McGrain 2.0 if he stays here so long. It's just, I mean, Danny McGrain was a right back, fair enough, right? But what a player for being only 19 years old, and there's no conversation about it. He's a young player of the season. He won the official award for it as well, and now just one award left to discuss. So the final one, player of the season. What a season for Celtic. Every player done their bit, week in, week out. It's a team full of champions this season. Unbelievable season for Celtic. The transformation in every player. And the players we've brought in have helped. Dembele, Sinclair, every signing. I can't remember any other signings. Kolo Toure even done his bit at the start of the season. We have done terrific this season. And it's really difficult to give a player of the season because I'm torn between so many players. Armstrong, Brown, Lustig even, Sinclair, Dembele, Roberts. There's so many players. Armstrong, everyone has done their bit. But at the end of the day, it has to be Scott Sinclair. It has to be Scott Sinclair. And he won it. He won the fans' player of the season. He won the players' player of the season. Unreal. He's came in and he has been a new lease of life to Celtic, and a new lease of life to himself. He's reinvented his career up here at Celtic. And what a year he's had, just scoring goals, assisting goals, his playmaking, the chances he creates, everything about Scott Sinclair. Fantastic player. And I really feel bad for not giving Moussa Dembele either young player or player of the season, but the margin is ever so narrow. And I think the true realisation that you've got to take from this season is every player has been great, or the majority of players has been great, because Tierney could have been player of the season, Sinclair obviously, Dembele, Armstrong, Brown, everyone put in performances that are unreal this season for Celtic, and it just shows we're unbeaten, we're about to win a treble hopefully. And everybody's just been great, and it's really hard to turn down. It's really hard to turn down people to get my opinion for player of the season, because giving it to Sinclair over Dembele was tough for me to choose on. But Sinclair, it was just week in, week out. He scores goals when we need him to score goals. When Dembele's not scoring, Sinclair's there to stand in and score goals, and that's really took the award for me. And it's just been a fantastic season all round. I think it really should be a team award, to be honest, to player of the season, because everything's been so well gelled together. Fantastic squad. I couldn't ask for the team to be better, and there's little improvement. There is obviously always improvement you can add to Celtic, but it's going to be difficult during the summer to take people out the team to replace. But ultimately, to move forward on a European level, we need to make those changes if players are going to be better. But that will be difficult. But Scott Sinclair, at the end of the day, player of the season for me. So that does it, ladies and gentlemen. That's my awards. Let me know what you think. Let me know who you would have personally given each category to. That's just my opinion, so please don't go on rants and such if I didn't give something that you thought should happen. This is personally what I thought. So if you've enjoyed it, as I said at the start of the video, make sure to hit like and subscribe. I appreciate it all, and I'll see you all next time.